and Go Hour podcast, the hottest and newest podcast when it comes to New Orleans Saints news. It's your boy Merv, and welcome to another Thursday edition of the show. And in today's episode, I kind of want to talk about the off-season news that's going on with the New Orleans Saints. Yes, we're talking off-season news. We're posting during the regular season, the playoffs. We're posting 365 days about the New Orleans Saints. Make sure you follow the Instagram page at Black and Gold Hour. But in today's episode, I kind of want to talk about the Saints wide receiving core and a certain wide receiver that might not be with the team after this offseason. I want to talk about Drew Brees, of course. And lastly, I want to talk about the biggest quarterback that's kind of in discussion around the NFL, and that's Russell Wilson. I mean, we got Deshaun Watson, we got Matt Stafford. But let's talk about Russell Wilson and if he can come to the New Orleans Saints and how much it'll cost. Let's dig in. Now, in today's episode, I kind of want to start off talking about the New Orleans Saints wide receivers. In 2020, we had Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Marquez Callaway, Tre'Quan Smith, and Deontay Harris kind of rotating as wide receivers for the New Orleans Saints. Now, Emmanuel Sanders was a player that I was very excited about when the season first started. I mean, I was running around the house when he was signed because I kind of believed that he was the missing piece for the New Orleans Saints offense. We were looking for that reliable number 2 option. And then Mike Thomas kind of had some nagging injuries over the season, and it kind of disrupted everything. And Drew Brees really wasn't able to get in the groove with Emmanuel Sanders until the season was towards the end. But Emmanuel Sanders is set to represent about $10 million against the cap this offseason, and people are starting to think about whether he should be cut. Is Emmanuel Sanders a player that you want to see on the New Orleans Saints roster in 2021? And I actually do want to see Emmanuel Sanders. Maybe it's a contract restructure, but he was a player that began to get in the groove with the offense. He showed the speed, he showed the hands, he showed the ability to still make the big play as he's entering the age of 34 in 2021. He is an electric player at his age, and I just believe his veteran leadership is really important for the New Orleans Saints. Now I want to talk about Michael Thomas. Now we know Michael Thomas, was dealing with some injuries last season, and it really wasn't a good season for him. He didn't, record a catch in the divisional round of the playoffs, and that's just unlike Michael Thomas after breaking the receptions record in 2019. But he recently posted something on Instagram that kind of got me excited for the 2021 season, and I'm going to read it here. So Michael Thomas on his Instagram kind of made a post that basically said, and I quote, "I can honestly say I deserved every L I took. I got too comfortable with a lot of things and people. It all backfired on me, but I'm back at it now, and it's all understood." So I don't know what that means. He could be talking about his personal life, his family, a business, whatever the case may be, but I'm hoping it has something to do with football. Because Michael Thomas is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, if not the best. He's my favorite wide receiver to watch because he doesn't use speed. He catches with his hands, and he just finds a way to get open. So I'm hoping that he can come back in 2021 on a tear, man. I just know, Michael Thomas is going to be different next year, and we're going to have a different quarterback under center, I assume, and I just believe that Michael Thomas is gonna, have a bone to pick with the NFL. He's gonna be on a tear on a week in and week out basis. So I'm excited to see what Michael Thomas does in the 2021 season. But we have to know who will be throwing Michael Thomas and possibly Emmanuel Sanders the ball in 2021. And that all depends on quarterback Drew Brees. Now, Drew Brees, Hall of Famer, we know what he's done for New Orleans. Is Drew Brees kind of holding the Saints hostage by, if he doesn't make an announcement, the Saints really aren't going to make a move, because it's kind of what Drew Brees says goes. If he's coming back, he's coming back. If he's not coming back, then the Saints will move forward. But Drew Brees hasn't said anything about his retirement. He kind of made a post throwing a football, kind of doing some sponsorship probably, and fans were kind of all in the spectacle in the comments of him just holding the football. It was hilarious to me. I was laughing because you got fans who really want Drew Brees back, and then you got fans who are ready to move on, and I found myself on the ready to move on side because I just want to see Drew Brees go off on a high note, and I don't want to see his legacy kind of diminish as he gets older. And I do believe the Saints are kind of going in a new direction, and they need some players that can stretch the field, and a quarterback who can help those players stretch the field. And I love Drew Brees. Drew Brees is my favorite NFL player of all time. I got his signed autograph helmet right here. But at the same time, all good things must come to an end, and I would like to see a new quarterback under center for the Saints. But Drew Brees, it's his world, and he's not ready to make that announcement. I'm hearing different reports about possibly it's coming soon, but it's Drew Brees' world, and he has the right to take his time. But the New Orleans Saints have to make moves whether Drew Brees is in New Orleans or not. But as we talk about quarterbacks, I kind of want to wrap up today's show talking about the big topic for today's show, and that's Russell Wilson. Now, Russell Wilson is not a free agent. He was not part of those long list of QBs who were free agents going into the offseason. He signed with the Seattle Seahawks, has a hefty contract that a lot of teams wouldn't want to pick up. But there's talks about him being unhappy in Seattle. They haven't been very consistent over the last couple of years past since the Legion of Boom kind of era. And maybe it's time for Russell Wilson to, go somewhere else. And hopefully it could be the Saints if he chooses to. But I'm a big Jameis fan. I do believe Jameis is the future. Like, if I had to pick between who would likely be the quarterback of the Saints, it would most likely be Jameis Winston. But the Saints have to have the best players on the field. And I kind of want to talk about Russell Wilson in today's episode and how much it would cost the Saints to get Russell Wilson. Now, Seattle said that 1/3 of the National Football League called about Russell Wilson over the past 2 weeks. And that's crazy to hear. I mean, Russell Wilson is a superior talent. He's smart. He can get the ball down the field. He's agile. He can make people miss. And he's never had a losing season in the NFL. And it's crazy to think about that. Even Drew Brees, as dynamic as he is, he's had a couple of 7-9 seasons. But Russell Wilson has never had a losing season in the NFL. And he's one of my favorite players. Actually, I don't really watch a lot of players really hard outside of the Saints. But honestly, Russell Wilson is my favorite player in the NFL, taking out my Saints bias. So I kind of wanted to talk to you guys today about how much it would cost to possibly get Russell Wilson. Now, the Seattle Seahawks did talk about it costing 3 first-round draft picks. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of mortgaging your future. But is Russell Wilson, worth it? I do believe that he is. I do believe that he is a quarterback that, can elevate a team with minimum talent and take them to a playoff team. I mean, Russell Wilson is one of the best players in the NFL, one of the smartest QBs, has the best deep ball in the NFL. And I believe that he is worth 3 first-round draft picks. Now, the New Orleans Saints would have to probably give another piece of talent. And I'm seeing names tossed out like Marshawn Lattimore. No, you cannot put Marshawn Lattimore in any deal that is involving Russell Wilson. I do believe Marshawn Lattimore is an integral part of the New Orleans Saints defense. And as the New Orleans Saints defense kind of shuffles pieces around due to free agency and possibly losing players, and they could possibly lose Marcus Williams, I believe Marshawn Lattimore has to be a staple for the New Orleans Saints, and Demario Davis, and of course Cam Jordan on the D-line. And another player that I'm hearing tossed out is probably the worst, player that could ever, whose name could ever be tossed around as far as a trade, and that's Ryan Ramczyk. Now, Ryan Ramczyk is one of the best players at his position. He's kept Drew Brees upright on many of occasions. That guy is a dynamic tackle. He is dynamic, and he's still early in his career, and the price tag will be high for him. But I do believe the New Orleans Saints have to keep Ryan Ramczyk on the roster. I mean, any quarterback that you have has to have a good tackle, and I believe that Ryan Ramczyk is probably the best tackle in the NFL. Teron Armstead, one of the best tackles in the NFL, and they just make the best tackle duo in the NFL when Teron Armstead can be healthy. So I don't believe that that's a trade option as well. But I am seeing a report from FanSided written by Matthew Beagle, and it's talking about 3 first-round draft picks as well as a second-round draft pick as well. So, that's 4 draft picks. That's 4 draft picks. And the New Orleans Saints, that's really mortgaging your future. And I'm not comfortable with giving away 4 draft picks for Russell Wilson. I'm just not comfortable with that. Personally, for me, I believe that the New Orleans Saints are so close to getting where they want to be, and they've been so close the last 4 years, that why mortgage your future when the team is already young and talented for Russell Wilson? I believe Russell Wilson is a dynamic quarterback, one of the best in the league, if not the most consistent and best quarterback in the NFL. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, but at the same time, the Saints are so close. They're so young, and I believe they need those draft picks to be consistent for the future. And I just don't believe that Russell Wilson is worth four high round draft picks. But I do believe that the New Orleans Saints are fine with Jameis Winston. I believe that Jameis is feeling confident. I've seen a lot of reports about how and a lot of Saints Twitter talking about how the Saints really like James, but they might not believe in him as the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. But I believe in him as a quarterback. I believe in the offseason, if the Saints are faced with no choice but to sign Jameis, they will get him right for the season. I believe that he can make the throws, he can stretch the field, and he can lead the Saints to the championship. And I'm going to keep saying this. This is now February 24th, and I'm saying this as I'm recording it. You guys are watching this on the 25th, and I'm saying that Jameis Winston does have the capability to take the Saints to the Super Bowl. But we're going to keep watching. We're going to keep seeing kind of what's happening as the offseason unfolds. I'm sure the Saints were one of the 33% of the teams that did call Russell Wilson. And I hope that the Saints don't mortgage their future on a quarterback. I just believe that they're talented enough to get there. They're so close. They just need to stretch the field and keep defenses honest, and they'll be in the Super Bowl next year in 2021. But that's it, for my kind of quick analysis of the offseason news that I kind of wanted to talk about in today's episode. But let's get to my favorite part of the show. So in case you've never listened to the Black and Gold Hour podcast before, in case you've never sat in on an episode and listened to the podcast, this is the part of the show where I kind of give some encouragement and tips to help us get through life. And I want to share that with you guys, and you guys can share that with somebody else. And we're just a big sharing circle here on the Black and Gold Hour podcast. And today I want to talk about the word discipline. When we're achieving a goal, we have to have discipline to get to where we want to be. For example, January 1st comes and a lot of us want to be healthy. We might, start dieting, or we might start working out. But a lot of us, including myself, January 1st comes and we cut all the fast food cold turkey. We start working out 4 to 5 times a week, and by February we're back on the fast food. We're not really working out as much as we can. But it's important for us to know ourselves, know the person that God made you to be, know who He intended for you to be, and implement those changes gradually. Maybe instead of working out and dieting all on the same day, why don't you start dieting first? Changing your portion sizes. And then as the weeks progress, start walking. And then as the weeks progress, start running. And then you'll get to where you are and what you envision for yourself during the summer, for the summer beach goals and everything like that. But I'm not just talking about working out, I'm talking about everything, our career, our relationships, our hobbies, everything in between. Just implement those changes gradually. A lot of us can't, go from 0 to 100 when it comes to everything. So just think about your goal and don't worry about, how long it takes or the timeline for your goals. Just work on every single day having the word discipline in your head and implementing it in your daily life. But that's it for today's Merv Speaks segment. That's just something I wanted to share with you guys and something I'm trying to implement in my own life every day. But thank you guys for listening to today's show, man. I love talking about the New Orleans Saints, and I'll be back next Thursday for another exciting edition of the Black and Gold Hour podcast. We're gonna, stay tuned in on the Saints offseason news, see if Drew Brees makes that announcement, and, try to, navigate through this crazy world. But that's it for today's episode. Everybody, stay safe, be blessed. Peace.